people who ask me why I waste time fighting for morphine.
What?
And this is what I say to white gay men or women who ask me why I spend so much time talking about apartheid when I should be fighting for gay rights. I am black and I'm gay. I cannot separate the two parts of me into secondary or primary struggle. They will be all one struggle.
Hi, so welcome to episode 15 of The Real Talk with Katie. As you guys saw in the previous episode, we were speaking on Youth Got It Part 2, and now we are now moving more into now our queer and our sexual identity, things that we also don't talk about. And also we have with us right next to me Tshego.
To say hi back.
Well, it's a flow. We will keep
okay,
it
cool.
like this
This
will be added.
I might say that this is my first ever YouTube interview,
Okay.
so I'm really
No,
not sure what to do.
Don't worry, we'll trim, we'll put up, but it's just as real and natural as it goes. But let me just still continue the introducing. Episode 15. When we speak identity, we'll be speaking about sexual orientation in our communities. Identity is also from a young age, things that we go, just, expanding and getting knowledge out there of what it is, to discover your sexuality in the journeys that we go through. Today we have with us Tshego, the author and writer of this prestigious and
Iconic
book, Sipho's Pink Dress.
Yeah.
Welcoming Tshego.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I really feel privileged to be here to talk about this book.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to share my story and to share Sipho's story.
Yeah, that's I'm excited to hear Sipho's story on today's feature with Tshego, guys. Also check him out on Instagram.
Yes, I am on Instagram. It's my name and surname. So it's Tshego Magolego on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
There we go. You guys will see it appear on your screens. Get more if you guys want to order these books. You could get them on these social networks as well. They are about how much?
It's 175 per copy.
175.
And if you are in Joburg, Midrand, I'm able to deliver. But if you're outside of those boundaries, then we will arrange for you to get it through Pixie, which is like a courier that I use with Heyy.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, Sipho, please tell us about your background and just everything and what has made you today and what has made you today.
Every time I do interviews and I'm asked questions please tell us about yourself, I always find myself struggling.
Okay.
And I think it stems from the fact that I find myself to be a very complicated person.
Okay.
I'm very layered, I'm very complex, and for me, I sort of define the person that I am depending on the setting and time and space. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, I just feel like I'm very dimensional and I never know which pocket to pick from when I'm asked those questions. But I can tell you about my upbringing. So I was brought up in Tbilisi, which is in the East Rand. It's a township, a very rough township, right? So being the person that I was, or the person that I was becoming or identified as or perceived to be, was sort of a challenge or a very interesting experience for me, which obviously led into a whole lot of experiences that were not so pleasant. I found myself very alienated within
isolated.
Yeah, isolated. I was made to feel as if I was an island. And this was outside the domestic environment. This was outside, I was outside of my family unit.
Yeah.
And I think what that did to me was it sort of like damaged my self-esteem and the person that I was. In hindsight now, I really feel like it sort of like changed the person that I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think obviously it's not just my own experience. I mean, I believe that there are other queer people who go through the same experiences. In some it's even worse. You know?
No, that then brings us to the intention of your book, you know. What has inspired?
Tshego Magolego is an investigative journalist and now author of a new children's book titled Sipho's Pink Dress. This thought-provoking kids read follows Sipho, a gender non-conforming child, on their first day at school in Soweto and how they navigate diversity and the importance of inclusion in public spaces. Tshego is in the studio with us this morning to help us unpack this offering that's illustrated by Kamohelo Molefe. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Sipho. Thank you so much for having me.
Inspired Tshego to write this beautiful book, Sipho's Pink Dress?
So it's basically my experiences, like my very traumatic experiences. I was bullied in primary school.
Yeah.
I was bullied in high school, and I was bullied in varsity.
All three levels
of my schooling life, right?
Yeah.
And you send a child to school for them to get an education,
to build their character,
right? And that's the only thing that your child should have to worry about when you send them to school.
Yeah.
But in our schooling system, especially public schools in South Africa, you find that children experience the contrary. You don't feel protected when you are in a school environment, and when you go there, you would assume that the teachers will sort of like assume a role of a parent. But in my case, it was the contrary, and I went through a whole lot of bullying, like verbally, physically.
From both teachers and learners.
From both teachers and learners. And I'll tell you, the type of bullying that I'm talking about from teachers is the type where you feel as if you are less of a student, despite the fact that you will try find ways to excel in school. You'll still be not seen. You'll still be, basically you will feel as if you're invisible in class, and you will not be given your flowers, basically. And that obviously damages the person that you are, and I didn't want the next generation to go through the same experiences that I went through. And hence why I wrote the book. My intentions with the book was to want the Siphos out there to see themselves in African literature, in an African context, post-apartheid era, right? And that was my intention when I wrote the book. But I realize now that the book is, as much as the book is for children who are queer and for them to see themselves and feel as if they are represented, the book is also for heterosexuals, right? One of the first people that I sent the book to was actually a colleague's son who identifies as heterosexual. When I sent the book to them, they are about 12 years old. They said to me, you know, this book makes me think about what I say to the next person. It also makes me more open-minded. And for me, that was a win, to say that if a heterosexual identifying child can say those about this book, then it's a win for us to say that then at least we are trying to curb the bullying and the misunderstandings that heterosexuals have. And I think it's just through education and using African literature as a tool to educate people and ensure that they understand what do we mean when we say someone is gay, or what do we mean when we say someone is non-binary. So the book is basically follows a gender non-conforming child to school in Soweto. The protagonist, by the name Sipho, they go to a school in Soweto, and when they get to school, they are misunderstood by teachers and like the learners at the school. And what then happens is that they start calling Sipho to be different, and Sipho then goes on a journey to sort of like try and understand what does being different means.
Yeah.
And if you were to look up the word different in a dictionary, you'll find that it means that to be unusual. You know what I'm saying? Which is a very demeaning, and it has like
Not
undertones of like, you know, it's sort of like a derogatory term. But now Sipho's mother then uses like language to sort of like reassure Sipho and tell them to say that it's okay to be different. And there's a quote in the book that says to be different is to be you, and you should pride yourself in being different, you know, and standing out. And then the book has like a beautiful
It's okay
ending.
to be unusual. It's okay to be weird. Oh, it's not even weird, but to be
okay
different.
To be you, right? Yeah. And people should respect them. I think this book, for me, how I describe it, it's a protest for me, but it's also a celebration of gender non-conforming individuals, because for a long time we have been dealing with like hate crime. We have been dealing with public hospitals that do not offer gender affirming services, despite the fact that on paper it says that they should be offering those services, but when you get there you find yourself that the medical practitioners don't even understand what being transgender is. So for me, this book was telling a story that is unheard of, a story that is usually sidelined.
That's unique.
And I wanted it to be an intervention in our schooling system to say that
being part of the curriculum.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, it's a kid's book, as you guys can see, and it would also
Indeed, I agree.
which means that it is nourished while it is still wet, meaning that in its naturalness, in its youthfulness, it is molded and being get ready for, if I could say, in terms of future endeavors.
Now, Johannesburg's 33rd Pride Parade returns on the 29th of this month. This after a 2-year hiatus due to COVID-19. Now, the parade is aimed at creating non-homophobic, non-sexist and non-racist spaces in and around the city. Author and investigative journalist Tshego Magolego has written a queer-centered children's book titled Sipho's Pink Dress. And he's here today to discuss the book and the significance of the Pride Parades. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
I think when
you know your nieces and nephews, and I think when I was
maybe you should feel bad about that. You could take that and be like, whatever you're trying to impose on me, I know I'm different and I want to be different on purpose.
Yeah, what a lot of people do not know is that the color pink, right, was actually considered to be masculine up until the 1940s.
Oh!
Right. And this, people don't speak about it, no one knows about it, but pink was actually masculine color up until the 1940s, and thereafter it was now considered to be feminine, right? And the reason why I wanted Sipho, number one, to wear a dress, but not just a dress, a pink one, right? It was for me to protest that, to say that if society and the powers that be are able to dictate when a color can be considered to be masculine or feminine, then why is it that sexuality and identity is not allowed to be fluid, right, and to change within space and time and whatever. So for me, I wanted Sipho to wear a pink dress and address it that because I wanted to protest it.
And we are looking forward to more, and you know, living in a more non-judgmental society, less bullying for queer kids in especially primary schools and high schools, and it's okay, it's normal. And just them seeing it in I love how you used pictures, and it's a normal storybook, just that it expresses and it shows a trans normality, a queer normality, homosexual normality that does exist, and especially for kids that are still finding themselves at a very young age. This works as a perfect manual maneuver, or rather a setting that's like, okay, no, I'm relevant. I exist. I'm not the only Sipho, you know, and we really, as the Real Talk with Katie, promote and are very grateful for such things, and we do hope that you guys catch it. This book, guys, I'm going to get it for myself very soon as well, for my little sister, so that she knows that, baby girl, we exist, okay? Yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching this thing. So yes, guys, hope we do catch up with each other at the Joburg Pride as well, since you're on that topic. And yes, Sipho, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
I just want to say also that this is a very iconic moment, and I do appreciate you taking time to want to create queer content, because it's very important for such discussions to be had up until where we find a just society for everyone.
Yes, a just society for everyone. Enough is enough, and out is out. Okay, guys, yes, stay tuned for what's coming up next on this very episode.
And cut. Hey people, hey. As we said from the beginning,